So today, we're diving into a story that's straight out of a cybersecurity thriller. It's all about a critical flaw in the popular automation tool n8. And the real kicker? This is a story about a security patch that might have just made everything worse.
I mean, think about it. What happens when the very thing that's supposed to be your shield actually becomes a weak point? It's pretty much the worst-case scenario for any security team. You find a vulnerability, you patch it, you think you're safe, only to find out that attackers have found a clever new way to walk right through your brand new wall. And for anyone using n8n, well, that nightmare is happening right now.
Okay, so just to make sure we're all on the same page, what exactly is n8n? Well, it's this really powerful open-source automation tool. It connects all your different apps and services. If you're trying to link your sales software to your email marketing, or maybe feed data into an AI model. n8n is that digital glue holding the whole operation together. It's a huge time saver.
And that brings us to our first section, a fix that completely failed. See, this isn't about some totally new, out-of-the-blue kind of attack. Oh no. This is about a slick workaround, a bypass of a solution that everybody thought had already been put to bed.
So here's the deal. This new vulnerability, which is being tracked as CVE-2026-25049, lets an attacker waltz right past a security patch that was released for a different critical problem just a couple of months ago. And let me be really clear about this. Even if you did everything right and applied that first patch, you are once again completely exposed.
And we're not talking about some minor bug here. On the CVSS scale, which is how the industry measures how bad these things are, this one gets a 9.4 out of 10. That's not just bad, that's deep in the critical zone. This is the kind of thing that sets off all the alarms and makes security teams drop everything.
So how does this actually work? How do the attackers pull it off? Well, that brings us to Section 2, the server takedown trick. We're going to break down how a simple, everyday workflow gets turned into a weapon for total control.
The best way to understand this is with an analogy. Imagine the original security patch was like you reinforcing your front door. You put on new locks, a stronger frame. That one door is now solid. But this new exploit, it's like realizing that while you were so focused on that door, you accidentally left the master key to the entire building just sitting under the doormat. The strong door doesn't really matter anymore, does it?
And the attack itself? It's shockingly simple. An attacker who has permission to create a workflow starts there. Then, they sneak a little bit of malicious code into one of the workflow's settings. All they need after that is for someone to visit that workflow's public web address. The second that happens, bam! The code runs, and the attacker can now execute commands right on the server that's running n8n. Game over.
This quote from Elon Cohen, a security researcher at Pillar, just says it all, doesn't it? If you can create a workflow in n8n, you can own the server. It's not about getting a little bit of access. It's about getting all of it. That one permission, which might seem harmless, becomes the keys to the entire kingdom.
But, and this is a big but, owning the server is really just the beginning. Which brings us to Section 3, the AI and cloud heist. Because the real danger here isn't just the server itself, it's what that server is connected to.
You have to think about what these automation platforms really are. They are central hubs, right? They're connected to everything. They hold all the credentials, all the API keys, and all the secret tokens for your most important systems. It's not just a tool. It's a treasure chest full of digital keys.
So once an attacker is in, they can potentially get their hands on all of this. We're talking API keys for powerful AI models from OpenAI or Anthropic, credentials for your entire AWS cloud account, access to your private internal databases, sensitive customer data. They could even intercept and mess with your AI chats in real time. It's a goldmine.
And here's the part that should probably keep you up at night. A big, noisy attack that breaks everything is one thing, but a silent one, oh, that is so much more dangerous.
What makes this so sneaky is that a successful attack doesn't actually break anything. Your workflows keep running just fine, all the dashboards look green, and business goes on as usual. But in the background, an attacker could be quietly copying all of your most valuable data, and you'd be none the wiser.
Now, if all of this is giving you a serious case of déjà vu, well, you're not wrong. Let's get into Section 4, a pattern of problems. You see, this incident isn't happening in a vacuum. It's just the latest in a really rough string of security issues for n8n.
Just look at this timeline. It's pretty wild. Back in December, the original flaw gets patched. Then in January, a totally different max severity bug called Nightmare hits the scene.
And now in February, we have this new flaw that undoes the work from December. It has been a very, very busy few months for the folks defending n8n systems.
So how does this new flaw stack up against that nightmare bug from last month? The big difference is access. Nightmare was what we call an unauthenticated attack. The attacker didn't need a username or password at all. This new one requires them to be a logged-in user with permission to create workflows. Now that might sound a little better, but in some ways it's worse because it turns a trusted user's account into a weapon. And in the end, the result is exactly the same. Both are rated critical and both lead to a total server takeover.
All right, we have talked about the problem, how bad it is, and the pattern it fits into. Now for the most important part. Section 5, your security checklist. Let's get into what you need to do to protect yourself right now.
First things first, and this is the good news, there is a fix. The n8n team has already released patches. They are strongly urging every single user to update their systems immediately. This is priority number 1. Don't wait.
So here's your action plan, broken down into 3 simple steps. 1. Update your n8n software right away. Seriously, do not put this off. 2. Go review your user permissions. Ask yourself, who really needs the ability to create and change workflows? Be ruthless. Only give people the absolute minimum access they need to do their jobs. And 3, as an extra safety measure, rotate your credentials. Go in and change those super sensitive API keys and tokens, especially for your cloud and AI stuff. And that leaves us with one final big question to think about. The very thing that makes these automation tools so amazing, their power and connectivity, also makes them massive targets for attackers. So the real question you need to be asking yourself isn't just about this one patch for n8n. It's about your whole security setup around these incredibly powerful platforms. Your tools are powerful, for sure, but are they actually protected?